All right, welcome back to the Path Podcast. This is episode 9. We're going to be speaking with Andrew and Steven, the founders of StrikeLyte, which is an electrolyte company that is disrupting the industry. So enjoy. Dave texted me about this electrolyte company, and it's a cool entrepreneurial venture. Like, we're all in the health and wellness space, so have you on the podcast, and then so that's perfect. Cool. Perfect aligned.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
To kind of give some insight back into us, we went to college together at K-State, if you guys know what that is, like in BFE Midwest. So, and then so we were in the same fraternity, and then we kind of started a couple of business ventures, in like Amazon wholesale, and then into like drop shipping. Those pretty much failed, but then kind of stepped through the failures, and now we're here with Path, where we're trying to build a brand that kind of helps people improve their lives through understanding their financial freedom, learning financial literacy, and then learning health and wellness, how to improve their bodies to help improve their lives, and then emotional intelligence and spirituality, and kind of learning how to combine all three of them together to really improve your lives.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what was the name of your guys' company again?
Path.
P-A-T-H. Oh, okay. Right there behind you guys.
Oh yeah, no, it's right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's something we're super passionate about, and that's why we're putting so much effort into it. Because with our previous businesses, it was all about just making as much money as possible in the shortest amount of time, and it was soulless work, really. It was purchasing raw materials, reselling them on Amazon. There's no passion in it at all, and that's why we kind of got burned out. So it's something really cool that we started. We both are in the health and wellness and financial freedom spaces. So we're really passionate about that. So that's
it. That's important. You'll never work a day in your life as long as you're passionate.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah.
How old are you guys?
24.
Yeah, we're both 24.
All right. Crazy. My son's age. Awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm 50, so.
Okay. Nice.
Gotcha. Cool.
I'm 36. Yeah, I'm 36.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
My little.
Yeah, splitting the meter right there. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So, I was gonna say, if you guys could kind of give a little background for each, either one of you or both, or kind of your journeys together, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, you want to kick off how we met, Andrew?
Sure. So I was a policeman for 20 years here in Utah, and my way out of that was real estate and mortgages. And I happened to be at a home show had my booth set up, doing my mortgage shtick. And this guy walks up in fatigues, and he's looking for somebody in the gardening space, right? To pitch his. He invented a garden bed that was, going to keep the water there, and we got into the weeds with it, right? Because we're in a desert, so it's a great idea.
Self-watering,
yeah, self-watering,
self-sustaining garden system. Yeah.
Very cool. Really? And then he started talking to me about some programming ideas he had. Anyway, Steven's full of ideas, and at a certain point I stopped him and I was like, Steven, shut the up. And he looked at me. He's like, did I offend you? I'm really sorry, or whatever. And I was like, no, man, you can't be telling people about all this stuff this in depth. Steven so trusts me, he's loyal, and he wants to help people. And that's where we kind of clicked, that I want to help people. We're passionate about people making changes in their lives and living better lives. And so
absolutely.
We put our heads together, and I just shut the booth down. I was like, you know what? Let's go outside. We sat on the grass, had lunch, and chatted up probably 2 hours?
Yeah, it was a while. We chatted for a while. It was about the biggest thing. So he was the CEO of a software company, which so I had an idea for a software company, and I had been working on it for a while. So I wanted to create it was basically, we're starting with just math, and so he became the CEO of that software company, because I was like, I just want to be the nerd in the back coding. But basically the AI, it was kind of like grassroots AI. So I wasn't tying into any different libraries or anything. And so, but everything from the way you entered it, to the placer. Like the placer could not only detect like where you should have been placed, but it could detect any gaps in your knowledge. And then when you started taking the math, it would fill in those gaps before it placed you. And then it also could analyze, it was constantly analyzing the student. So instead of just giving you like a test of 10 questions and being like, well, you got 7 out of 10 correct, so you can move on, or, oh, you only got 6 out of 10 correct, so you got to try taking the lesson again. It actually, if you got the problem wrong, it can detect where you got it wrong, why you got it wrong, and it'd break down and tutor you on the spot. And so,
that is amazing.
anyways, and what's funny is like, so that's why I was saying like we weren't like StrikeLyte would be in beta, like we'd be in beta right now. StrikeLyte would have been launched, or not StrikeLyte, LMST, stands for Language, Math, Science, Technology, Engineering. That would have been launched right now if StrikeLyte didn't happen. That's why I told you like we started StrikeLyte on accident. We weren't.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking to start another company. I was just looking to make a really cool electrolyte at home. And then I talked to Andrew, and he's like, let me call up my buddy Mark.
Yeah, no, he had called me. I was in the airport. And he's like, hey, I had an idea. I'm like, really? That's weird. Steven had another idea.
Yeah.
And he started talking to me about it, and I was like, okay, I know some people. Like, this is a thing. It's not just let's make it in your kitchen. I'm like, I think this would really change the sphere. And that's what the computer company was kind of like, let's change the sphere of education. Let's break that mold. And like you guys were saying, the Amazon resale and stuff, we're just not passionate about fitting the same mold. We want to make sure people get that value and can actually see it and feel it in their life, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
No,
no,
exactly,
absolutely. Yeah.
Totally
So we've been together 4 years now. It's been it's been a haul, but this is really exciting coming to get to market and seeing people respond to it. It's been really favorable and fun.
Yeah, it's gotta be amazing, especially when you started it. Like I think Steven said, like 3 months ago, right, or something like that. Like really recent. So just to see that meteoric rise is just amazing.
We went from, and I know you said talking about kind of spirituality. I don't want to like turn this into like a sermon or anything, but we went from formulation to retail in less than 3 months. And I'm a military guy, so like and I'm an NCO in the military, and like we have a certain saying in the military, hurry up and wait. And what it means is like when work's there, you can't get it done fast enough, right? Like it needed to be done, even though they told you an hour ago, it needed to be done yesterday. But then as soon as it's done, you're back to just sitting around doing nothing again. And that's just kind of the way the military goes. And so, anyways, sometimes I forget, I don't realize I'm kind of socially handicapped, so and so I don't notice certain social cues. So Andrew called me up one day and had a come to Jesus talk. He's like, hey, look, I love that you're excited. I get that you're we all want to see this come to light, but I don't think you understand like that this is unheard of. Usually like from formulation to retail, you're talking a year, if not 2. Like going from formulation to retail on a brand new product like this in less than 3 months is unheard of.
Yeah, that doesn't normally happen at all. Yeah, that's really incredible. So what retail stores are you guys in right now? Or
we just did the online. We did sell because we had a batch that kind of this first batch it's still an amazing electrolyte, but we had some miscommunications with me and Mark, who is the supplier. And then I realized that I messed up with AI. It gave me like this high level view. And so when I was going back through the formula for, because we need to get the stick packets and Mark doesn't do sticks. So when we were working with Blue Chip Group, which is this big billion-dollar manufacturing company. They work with just a few little companies you might have heard of, like Amazon, Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco.
Shop,
just
small
a
yeah.
You might have heard a couple of those companies. Anyways, so they work with those companies, and so we're kind of doing some. I was talking with them, and I was like, "Do you guys do any like formulation or R&D batches?" And she said, "No. Like, you send us a formula, you send us like you have the ingredients delivered to us, we package and ship, like, and then you come pick it up and you handle shipping. So we can handle all just the putting it in sticks, like mixing and putting it in sticks." And so I was like, okay. So I went back through the formula again with a fine comb this time. And when I was reading through it, I was like, wait a second. There was like, because I read probably 200 pages. I uploaded, like I was telling you. So this is an AI generated formula. And so I went to like pubmed.gov and I uploaded, I mean, probably over 1,000 different pure. I mean, I typed in, you'll just go to pubmed.gov and type in hydration and type in electrolytes, type in potassium, type in magnesium, type in potassium and sodium, all these different ingredients. So I uploaded, I mean, tons of journals from pubmed.gov. I uploaded two like university level nutrition books, sports articles, military articles on like heat cats and just different things. And then AI went through probably over 100,000 pages worth of content and analyzed it all. And then we found that there's like synergetic effects within the ingredients. So then it started performing like calculus to figure out what the pinnacle ratios for the highest synergetic effects of the ingredients, if that makes sense. Sorry, that's kind of a mouthful.
Crazy, no, well, it's crazy chemistry, really it is.
Yeah.
You know, you move the potassium here, you got to move this. It's like your equalizer on your stereo. You move one. Oh, now we got to adjust this and this and this and this. So it was a grunt.
It was like a fine-tuned guitar. So I read through because AI doesn't just spit out like a sentence; it spits out like 4 paragraphs. And so, I mean, every time I was uploading stuff, I was kind of reading through and analyzing, and just so I probably read a few hundred pages at least of content. And so from that, so I realized that when I was reading through the formula, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I remember reading something about magnesium. I remember reading something about this. And I was like, I could have sworn there's synergetic effects with these ingredients and these ingredients. And it was like, oh yeah, absolutely. This is the high level view. It's like, would you like the full formula? And I'm like, well, yeah, I want the full formula.
Come on, man.
So anyways, I went through I made it go through all the content again. And then I made the full formula and I send it over to, I don't know if we should say names, my contact at the blue chip group, and who's super, super friendly, super nice. But anyways, then I wake up the next morning and it was almost like serendipity, right? Or like, it's just so like ChatGPT 5 comes out. So then I'm like, dang it. So I spend like the next 4 hours having to go through all the content again. And I'm like, can you find anything? Do you see any flaws with like what ChatGPT Chat 4 did? And it's like, no, it looks really solid. However, you could benefit if you did this. And I'm like, and then it just was a rabbit hole. And then so ChatGPT 5 came out and it nailed it down even more. So
wow.
That's
incredible.
So
we're pushing out to several retail outlets. There's some local grocery stores, Shields, Natural Grocers, some things like that. There's a big one. I guess it's the Fred Meyer Group is locally here at Smith's grocery stores, but it's the Fred Meyer Group, and that's another avenue we're going to pursue and get. We're just putting in the marketing for that type of stuff. We want to be in the stores, but the overhead's really, really an issue when you get into box stores. And so we have a big focus on online presence, retail through online, because it makes more sense. It keeps prices down for people.
That's true. So there's a lot of supply chain and logistics that goes into it too for the big box retail, like how much inventory you can have at a certain time, and then stuff like that. Yeah, I was in supply chain before I started Path, so that's like kind of my domain. That's where I kind of I understand it. So
Lots of moving parts.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. But I kind of want to get back to the AI and how you guys utilize that to expedite the process that would normally take a team of like 2 or 3 people. We use AI quite a bit for our company, and it's a game changer, especially in this day and age. Why wouldn't you use it, right? So that's a smart move by you guys. So I find that cool.
But the military, it's like, you know, those that can see, like even in World War II or World War One, like General Patton, what made him such a good general is he was able to like see things like the emerging technologies and figure out how to utilize them in the most effective way. So in fact, like the tanks, a lot of the generals, and because he was in World War II, he was a colonel. So he wasn't quite General Patton at the time. It was Colonel Patton. But a lot of his chain of command hated the idea of tanks and stuff because they were so stuck to traditional cavalry. So the tanks, you know, there was like this. They were trying to hold on to something that just couldn't last. But General Patton was the one that was like, well, the automobile is a new thing, and the machine gun is a new thing, and so he mounted a machine gun to a car and took out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was kind of, and so like I think that's just I'm a big history guy, and I really like General Patton and General MacArthur and a lot of military leaders and stuff. They kind of inspire me. And when you are going into business, and in a way, it's almost like going into war because people see you like right. There's no element. There's no electrolyte company that's going to see us and not see us as a threat, right? Because they know we can hit their margins, and so they're going to try to combat that to keep their company alive, which is I would think less of them if they didn't do that, right? So, but it's my job to protect my company, and so AI is the new tool, and if you're not
100%.
utilizing that, then you're going to get left in the past, right? You're like part of business. I told Andrew, like we built LIMPSD on SHIP, and it stands for sacrifice, hard work, ingenuity, and perseverance. And if you're not on SHIP, like if you don't get on SHIP, you're going to sink, right? So it's just that simple. So yeah, we got. But do you have any specific questions with the AI?
Well, let me weigh in here because
Sure.
I know Stephen real well, and I know how he works. And what you're seeing is a combination of artificial intelligence and intelligence, because the way his brain works is over here. I mean, for most people, it's like, wow, where did that come from, Stephen? And then he's going to tell me where it comes from. I'm like,
right.
Bring that back down in for me. Tell me like I'm a 5-year-old, bro. Because I'm catching bits and pieces, but so that was the big, I guess, synergistic effect was he's getting AI to produce this stuff, but also going back through it and looking through it and knowing what to look for and making the adjustments. And that was huge. I feel like if we were to have tried to formulate this without the AI tools and without someone like Steven, even though he's not a nutritionist or whatever, but just the way he thinks through things and is smart enough to see things from a different perspective, I think it would have taken a team of 20 people just because someone would have to know how magnesium affects potassium with sodium and like 15 other ingredients playing off each other. Wait, this can block that. And the team would have had to been massive and would have had to have
also
100 years combined in the sphere. It would have been.
They would have to.
So I don't want to.
Right? I mean,
I don't want to like. I mean, I don't think there's anything special about me personally. I'm flattered very much, but the biggest thing I think is like the reason I agree with him that 20 people. I don't even think that could do it because of the way AI works, right? Unless those people had telepathy. Because these teams, AI, I mean, it would have taken years, man. Because it performed probably 1,000 calculations. I don't even know. I don't know about that. But it was calculating every single ingredient to every other ingredient. And there's 20 ingredients. So do the math on that. You know, like when you're comparing every single ingredient, and then it's like you have the sodium, and I don't want to give anything proprietary away here. I know Andrew's probably like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah. How do I
you
censor
need to
this,
be in the
man?
same
Yeah.
room, Steven, so I can cover your mouth.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But the thing is like so it wasn't just like, because like most electrolyte companies, right? They're like, okay, sodium, potassium, magnesium, right? Those are the three main electrolytes. So, and that's fine for what they're kind of targeting for. Most of these electrolyte companies are just trying to build a muscle recovery, athletic, high performance, or like, yeah, like your military athlete type, muscle recovery type electrolyte. StrikeLyte, when I got into AI, I was like, look, I'm wanting to make the most complete, synergetic, like the best electrolyte to be trumped by none. Like, I want it to be the science. Like, I want it to be science driven, like make the best. And that's kind of what got us on here. So those people could have done it, but they would have to be on the same page, right? It's like at some point, like, okay, who's the world's strongest man right now? Eddie.
Oh, Eddie Hall. I think he's up there.
Eddie Hall, yeah.
Maybe.
Not me, but he's
Second place,
what,
yeah.
1,000 pounds?
Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Like,
absurd.
which is crazy, or 1,000 kilos or something. Anyways, a crane can do that. A crane can lift more than Eddie. At some point, our tools outperform what our human capability is. And I think that with StrikeLyte, this AI has outperformed what our mental capability is, because you would have to maintain, you have to hold on to all this information while performing all these calculations. It's just, I don't think our brains are capable of doing what AI did with this formula, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's some things too in there. You guys, when you read a label and you're like monosodium polyphthalate, phthalate, number five,
ingredients you can't pronounce.
The hell is that? Well, the petroleum distillate. That was one of the things that we were able to avoid. All the filler bunk BS that's out there, all the chemical stuff. But when you read the label on the StrikeLyte, there's a couple things you're gonna be like, the hell is that? Hey, Chat GPT, fill me in on what this is, because it went so far and reached out and pulled those things back. It's like, this is a really good compound. Most every other electrolyte on the market right now, sodium, maybe a little potassium, a crap load of sugar, and water. And that was, we were paying, both of us, I'm not going to name competitors, right? We don't do that.
Right.
But we were both using those products and paying $50 for 40 sticks, $60 for 30 sticks. It's like, okay, let's see what we're actually getting. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We're not even getting basically the benefits of hitting an IV bag. A saline IV bag would do better. So that was where we both kind of put our heads together, and really interesting. And that's where the speed to market comes from, right? We're 3 months into this thing. The formulation alone would have been 700 days. And it would have been then testing and refining even beyond that. So I think that's where the speed to market's coming from. And you guys are talking about AI. It's just this fledgling tool, as Stephen was saying, but we're already version 5, and it might as well be version 500, because in a year you won't even recognize it. And so that's where we're trying to utilize that and stay ahead of it. It's exciting, but it's also a little scary.
It is. Yeah.
And the other thing, Stephen, and again, don't downplay yourself, Stephen. I'm like, come on. But all of a sudden in our conversation, I'm like, hey man, we're running before we're walking here. Let's have urgency, but let's not rush.
Right. Yeah, because you can grow too fast. You can grow too fast.
I'm basically the guy that has. I put a bit in Steven's mouth and I just saw on the reins, like, whoa, like, hey bro, we got this. But we're already moving into products to complement the StrikeLyte, a creatine, a pre-workout. So you're not getting double the doses. You need StrikeLyte, but you want something to add to it. Oh, I want creatine. You're not necessarily looking for hydration. You're looking for muscle growth. Let's add this small, and it's obviously priced commensurately. Or I want to, whatever pre-workout. Well, obviously we need nitric oxide and things there's a whole different thing, but we don't want to get double potassium, double sodium. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And having AI to kind of expedite that thinking process it's nice, but yeah, you do have to slow down because it does move way faster than us. But it's nice that you can kind of focus your attention on something else as AI is working those formulas, like marketing, for instance. You said you have competitors and you're a threat to them. So it is crucial to market as much as you can. Because what I read, I forget what the influencer's name was, but he said that if you've been offline, your company's been offline for like a week, then people have already forgotten who you are, because there's so many ads, so much marketing for all kinds of products that you're just going to get lost in the weeds. So that's a huge part of business that sometimes is overlooked, is the marketing aspect of it, because people need to know who you are, and they need to be constantly reassured that this is a company that they want to stand with,
Yeah. I told Andrew, I was like, I know. Oh, and what? So, like, just to read, like you were talking about. So, I took AI, and I've been going through like pre-workout, energy, creatine, BCAAs, protein, and weight gainer. And I've taken these because, like, I like to, putting on weight's something I struggle with and stuff. So I've taken weight gainers. I've taken a crap ton of protein. And after reading this, I almost felt like violated. I was like, oh man, I put that in my body. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, but what I found is that, like, okay, with there's a lot of ingredients that are shared between all these products. So not only did I balance StrikeLyte to itself with all those ingredients, but I'm working to balance these other products to StrikeLyte, if that makes sense. So that way it's like, okay, if I take StrikeLyte and creatine, it's not going to throw off the synergetic effects with StrikeLyte. Because when I was talking about that pinnacle, like why it was performing calculus is because, and I'm just pulling numbers out of my hat here, but like, let's take sodium, for instance. You have sodium chloride and sodium citrate. When you mix those at the right proportions, then you get that, it's like some 70 to 80% increase of hydration, like uptake of water, that it's huge. It's a huge increase. And so, but let's say that pinnacle ratio is 70-30, so 70% sodium chloride and 30% sodium citrate. But if you go down to 60-40, then that 80% increase drops down to like 20%. And if you go to 80-20, so it's 80% sodium chloride and 20% sodium citrate, then it drops down to like 25% instead of that 80. So you just being off even a little bit can plummet those synergetic ratios, right? Those synergetic effects. Right. So if I take StrikeLyte and then I take creatine with it, and that creatine has some ingredient that's already well balanced in StrikeLyte, well, now that creatine is going to throw off that balance, and those synergetic effects will drop. So right. I don't know if that makes sense. Was that?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. All right. Cool. So that's kind of what he was talking about.
Fit together. You don't want to force the puzzle piece in. Those puzzle pieces have to fit together, and that's where the StrikeLyte was basically the best out there, is because of those synergistic effects. We're thinking, I was drinking one of the competitors, 6, and I would use 4 a day. I have my water bottle here. It's hydro jug. I'll pitch them because they're terrific. They never leak. Mine tips over the car all the time. But I would drink 4 sticks a day, right? With StrikeLyte, you're mixing it with 8, 12, 16 ounce of water, whatever you're doing, in the morning, whenever you're taking it. And for the rest of the day, and this is terrible for marketing and sales, I guess, but you don't need more StrikeLyte. Like, he's got it formulated to where 80 to 90% uptake of water. So you can take that and then drink your water throughout the day. You're drinking when you feel thirsty again. None of this you need a gallon a day, blah, blah, blah. No,
Yeah.
the electrolytes are balanced. Your body feels good. Your body will tell you when it needs something. We've gotten so far away from that with supplementation, with everything. Your body will tell you if you're not messing around with it, hey, I'm thirsty. And then you go over the garden hose. Well, I'm old enough that we used to drink out of it. There was something called a hose. It was somewhere called outside, gentlemen. It was outside.
Never heard of it before.
Never
Foreign topic.
Yeah, never heard of that before.
If your body tells you you're thirsty, you go to drink. But there's this strange sphere that we've entered into where we have to drink a gallon a day. That's where StrikeLyte comes in. That's where our soldiers are in the middle of a desert, a jungle. They're on a naval vessel, and they're having to pack in all the. Well, let's just give them what they need for optimal performance, rather than just going, well, just drink as much as you can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So their bodies are telling them, oh, you're hungry.
Yeah, absolutely. There's two things I want to mention there. Is we actually talked about this on one of our earlier podcasts, that nowadays there's so many supplements that you have to take in tandem with one another that it just seems redundant. So that's what's really cool about StrikeLyte. It's a one shot thing,
more like
one
baked
stick
into
thing. And that is good for marketing too, because that's your competitive advantage. That's your edge. So I would go super hard into the it's a one-off thing. Like, you don't need all the other products. You take this once and then let your body do the rest, basically. Like, it works well with your body's natural functions and needs. That would be a huge marketing area that definitely you should target.
We tried to keep the poisons out of it. There's no high fructose corn syrup, all these other things. And he talks a lot about AI. What's that?
We didn't try. We
purposely, you're right. We didn't try. That was our
that's
goal.
what happened.
But when you get into this sphere and you start tasting the other products, they're salty. They just aren't sweet like Americans are used to, right? And we've got it formulated now. It's I kind of give Steven garbage because he's like, it's perfect, and I said, AI doesn't have a tongue.
Yeah.
Well, but still, I'm like, no.
I wasn't building it for taste. I'm building it for performance.
Right.
Hey, in the military, when you're deployed, they give you salt. They literally just give you salt tablets, and it's just salt to get it like there. But that's what's great about StrikeLyte. Like what you guys said, it's complete, and like, it is my baby, so I'm talking about it. But it's not just me saying this. It's like data analysis software that has compared, I don't know, however many companies to StrikeLyte. And I was like, because I was focused on this chart because I like the chart because it was like, it showed sufficient, insufficient. People can see a chart and it's visually appealing. And I needed that for marketing. But every time I did that, it was almost like AI was getting annoyed with me, which I hate to say because it's just ones and zeros. It doesn't have feelings. It's not taking over.
Not yet. You better be nice to AI, because when it does take over, he's taking you out first. That's what I always joke about.
That jerk.
I always say thank you, please, everything.
Yeah.
Yes,
the other
right?
day I typed in.
Nice to the future overlords.
I typed in yesterday, and I know it's silly, but I'm like, don't hate me, but can we do one more change?
Yeah.
So, with StrikeLyte, like when I was doing those forms, the biggest thing it was saying was like these, like, it kind of said it in a way of like, look, this chart is great, but it doesn't capture like the what your biggest marketing point, and that is that it's complete and that it's synergetic, right? So for most of these electrolytes, like I said, they're focused on muscle hydration and recovery and stuff, which is great. Like that's why you would take it, right? It started with football, right? That's how it kind of got popular. Is like they put.
Keep saying that name.
What's that?
You keep saying that name.
I'll bleep it out. I'll edit it. I'll bleep it out or something.
Well,
Gatorade
was the
what would you
first
say
electrolyte. But with StrikeLyte, like the biggest thing that like AI was trying to drive home is that it's complete, right? So it's full body hydration. One of the electrolytes that's left out of all these other ones that's in StrikeLyte, that's because I said a full body. I want it to be full body, complete, and synergetic. And so is literally an electrolyte that's made to hydrate your brain. So like when you take StrikeLyte, you're gonna have your brain will literally be more hydrated. It said it's gonna improve cognitive functions. It's gonna reduce fatigue. It's gonna do this, that, and the other. Just this one electrolyte. There's other electrolytes that are literally focused on organs and bones and stuff like that. So like your skin is an organ. So like even the StrikeLyte that didn't turn out right, and when I started taking it, I noticed that like my skin, I kind of have like you can look at it and it's dry, right? And you see that more as you age and stuff. My skin looked like it was 20 again. I was like, I looked down and I was like, holy crap, my skin looks like younger. Like it looked more hydrated. It looked
Like you
healthier.
guys.
And so it looked like, yeah, it looked like you guys again. And so it's full body. And then because it's focused on like homeostasis, or is that the right word? Correct me if I'm wrong. Like basically, so most people are chronically dehydrated. And a lot of that comes from a stagnant lifestyle more than anything, honestly. But like until it gets, and I asked this question because I was like, I feel like I can't drink enough water now. And I was like, well, yeah, because you're probably dehydrated, and because I have a desk job now with the military, and like I try to get up and go to the gym, but it's still I'm sitting more than I've ever sat, and it's taking a toll on me. And so AI was like, yeah, so you're gonna feel more thirsty until you get into homeostasis, which is basically like an equilibrium with like where you're supposed to be at with your hydration levels. And so it's a full body hydration. So it will be like you'll take StrikeLyte and you will notice the difference.
Yeah.
It's gonna like you will notice a difference. It's not gonna be like a placebo. It's gonna be like a tangible, noticeable difference.
You guys have been
drinking it.
When you go to the gym and you bonk halfway through your workout and you're like just no energy. Just imagine having the hydration to where you're lifting stronger, your muscles are getting fuller, you're pulling in more nutrients. That's where our focus is.
Oh yeah.
And one of the really exciting developments, I'm not going to use any names, but Steven has some friends and their children have a medical condition that's very specific. And they took StrikeLyte to their physician. What?
Oh, they can't sweat. I think we can say
they
that.
can't sweat.
Oh,
I've never heard of it. They took it to their doctor, and he was like, "Wait a second, this is on the market. This is just what we need. This is what." Wow. So there's like so many applications when you can dial the science in tight, and that synergistic effect to have 80% better hydration. Even the physicians were like super stoked about it. Where can we get this? What's going on? So
he's like, this is on the market now, and they're like, well, no, he's still developing it, and he's like, And so they invited me to some conference, and so, but their biggest thing was the sugar. So like at first, when I first got that bottle from Mark, even though it wasn't like StrikeLyte, it's an amazing electrolyte, but it wasn't StrikeLyte, right? So that was my biggest concern, and that wasn't just Mark's bad, that was my bad, right? Like I said, I messed up with AI, and me and Mark had a miscommunication, but their biggest thing was like the sugar, because like they need to be taking these electrolytes so they don't overheat and stuff. They need to make sure that their hydration to them is a very big deal, kind of like blood sugar is to a diabetic. It's kind of like hydration to them is that's what hydration is to them. And so, but he's worried because of the sugar intake. Like you look at bottles of competitors.
Other products.
Yeah. Bottles of competitors. And it's like 28 ounces, 32 ounces, 40, 60 grams of sugar. So when I got our bottle of StrikeLyte, I was like, what is this? This is like tiny, man. Like I was kind of disappointed. And then I looked at the serving size, because like ours is 5 grams. The actual StrikeLyte is going to be it's like 8 grams, and it's just pure like electrolyte ingredients. So, but anyways, I looked at ours and I was like 5 grams, and then I looked at a competitor and I was like 16 is like 16 grams. So I was like, what do they have in theirs? I start going down and I see 11 grams added sugar. So they have 5 grams of like electrolytes, and it's out of proportion. It's not synergetic. and then it's way out of proportion actually, and then it's
Yeah.
11 grams of added sugar. So I was like, oh, I kind of like this little tub. It's more, it's easier to carry anyway.
Yeah, right.
So
So it seems like you guys have a lot of target markets that you can are targeting like different customer bases. What would you say is like your primary target market? Would it be the military, or what would it be like for StrikeLyte, do you think?
yeah, so I guess we haven't even told. Do you guys want to hear the story of how StrikeLyte came to be?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we told this story. I think it's kind of interesting. Andrew, you interrupt me where I mess up, but so I went to a military training. I had a really spiritual experience too right before I went to that military training. I won't get into that, but anyways, I went to this military training, and I've always drank different competitors, and then my first sergeant came. He's like, "Dude, you got to drink these guys," and I'm like, "Okay, cool," and they were great. I liked it. The only thing I didn't like is I have 5 kids, and those stick packets that I buy don't last a week. And his were like $50 for 30 packets. So I was like, I can't afford $200. So I
Yeah.
went to AI, and I was like, hey, I could make this at home for cheaper, probably, right? If I just buy the ingredients in bulk. And it's like, oh, absolutely. And so it put out the list for me. And then it's like, and you know, there's some uptake cost, and like it, now you're blending it, and if it's not packaged properly, you'd have to, it's best to blend it every morning, because if it's not in the right packaging and stuff. And so, so there's some heartache to it, but I was like, whatever. And so, I look at it, and it was like, it dropped the price to like less than half. Because when you buy these ingredients in bulk, you're still not buying it in like bulk like what a manufacturer buys it in, right? So you're not getting that
Right.
big of a deal. And so and then I was like, oh, okay, cool. So is this the most complete electrolyte then? And it's like, what? No, it's not even close. There's actually like 7 main electrolytes, or 5 main electrolytes. Don't get me lying to you on the numbers. And this only has like 3. And then I would also take this out and add this. And so I was like, oh, okay. And then at some point, then I get to that, like what we talked about before, where I start uploading stuff. I can't remember. There's some discrepancy that I noticed. And I was like, oh, wait, what's your sources? And I was like, oh, can you only utilize like pubmed.gov? And it's like, oh, unfortunately, I can't access that website or any .gov, even though it's open to the public. And so I was like, okay, fair enough. And that's when I started downloading stuff. I get back from the training, and I call up Andrew, and I'm like, hey man, just hear me out. I know I'm all over the place or whatever, and I got all these ideas, but just hear me out. And he's like, oh yeah, man, I'm always willing to listen, but what do you got?
Yeah.
So I tell him about the StrikeLyte, and he's like, brother, you have no idea how serendipitous this is. Now Andrew's
Yeah.
rich, right? So he does rich people things, like goes to Formula One races and meets other rich people. So he's like, let me call my buddy Mark, and
Yeah.
let me call my buddy Mark and talk to him about it. And I'm like, okay. And at this point, I have no idea who Mark is. Well, Mark ends up being Mark. Mark. We'll just say Mark, and the owner of a. I don't know if he wants to say his name and company, but an owner of a multi-million-dollar manufacturing company. So he calls up Mark, and Mark's like, he kind of laughs. Is like, another electrolyte. Okay, cool. I mean, if I was to start a company, it probably wouldn't be an electrolyte company. Just so you know, the market's saturated. And so he's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll talk to him. But he's like, but send me over the formula, and I'll run it through my system and see what kind of deals I can give you on packaging and stuff, since you're a buddy of mine. So Andrew's like, okay, cool. And he calls me back and tells me kind of what Mark says. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, man. I was just seeing what your thoughts were. I was just going to make it at home for my family and stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Me and my family anyway. And he's like, okay, cool. Well, send me the formula. We'll send it over to Mark. Well, Mark runs it through this software. And the software basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but it checks to make sure quantities aren't in excess, like they're at safety, they're within safe ranges. Make sure that, there's nothing that's going to clash within the ingredients. Make sure it's going to go through FDA okay. Make sure it's going to pass clinicals okay. that kind of stuff, right? So I don't know what Mark sees, but he runs this StrikeLyte through the software and calls Andrew up, and Andrew, who's always like thinking I'm better than I am, he's all like, Andrew's trying to sell me here, but he's like, this guy came up with this all by himself, and Andrew's like, I'm telling you, this guy's the real deal. And Mark says, tell him that I'll pay for the clinicals, I'll pay for FDA, I'll make his R&D batch, and I'll make his first batch of 1,000 bottles for 10% of the company. And I was like,
Wow.
I mean, yeah, let me go build the LLC. Let me get that. And so that's why I was like, I wasn't looking to start a company. It just kind of was like, but then when that all happened, I was like, I guess we're starting it. And then, so I call my buddy Brendan Saxey, and Brendan is like, have you guys ever seen Daddy's Home? Mark Wahlberg in Daddy's Home? He's like the real life Mark Wahlberg. Like, he's connected on every level. Like if you want, like, he's the go-to, like, he just does things that other people are like, how did you even do that, man? He's like, yeah, man, no big deal. Yeah, I could totally do that. Friendly with everybody, just like the best networking guy. Like, not networking, he's just the most well-networked, capable guy. And I've worked with Saxy. I didn't know he dealt with military contracts and stuff. And so, like I was telling David this before, so I call up Saxy and I'm like, telling him, and I'm like, dude, this is just so serendipitous and stuff. I can't believe this is like coming into being. I wasn't even looking to start a company, and here we are. And he's like, dude, that's amazing. And he's like, have you ever heard of? And I'm like, he's like, have you ever heard of this company?
I'm gonna utilize that beep function so much. I got you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Yeah. He's like, have you ever heard of this company? And I'm like, I don't think so. He's like, dude, they have the DOD contract right now. I want you to do me a favor, have AI do a comparison to see how this company and StrikeLyte compare. And I was like, okay, cool. And this was when I first started getting into comparing StrikeLyte to different companies and stuff, or formulas. And so I was like, yeah, okay. So I have it come back, and that's when it first gave me that chart. And then it gave me like a list of other reasons. But I just saw that chart and I was like, oh my goodness, man. Like, you can really visualize what makes StrikeLyte so much better. And they have the DOD contract. So this isn't just some novice. This isn't some novice electrolyte company. Like, they know how to make good. It's one of the better electrolytes out there, and you can see how it compares. Did I say their name again? Dang it.
Okay.
This company is one of the better electrolytes out there, and you can see how it compares to StrikeLyte. So I send that chart over to Saxy, and I'm like, you tell me which one our soldiers deserve. And he sends back this picture of an eagle, a StrikeLyte all in caps with the next explanation. I was like, StrikeLyte. And I was like, he's like, dude, I'm going to send you over some paperwork. I need you to get it filled out, and then I need you to get this paperwork over to your manufacturer so we can I'm going to build you a DLA account, and we're going to secure you the DOD contract. And I was like,
answering questions. Awesome. We're trying for the DOD contract.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I mean, of course. Okay. So I was like, well, dude, if you close it for me, I'm going to give you 10% of the net income of that sale. And he's like, yeah. All right. Sounds good. He's like, we could work with that.
One of the things I think your audience will appreciate too is the way this comes about. It's basically the definition of entrepreneurial work, because I found, and I'm 50, and I have a company that does peptides and a couple other things going on, but I found through life that every once in a while the door shuts and the window opens, and if you're not willing to pivot and look through the window and then finally climb through it, I guess, to go that route.
Take a jump, take a leap.
Yeah, right. You're going to miss on an opportunity. And you guys have talked about this. You fail and you fail and you fail, but you're not a failure until you walk away, right? And that was, we had been working together for 4 years on a completely different project, which is not dead. It's merely waiting in the wings right now. But when we saw this opportunity and what it could mean for that other company, even to help move that along, and our families, it was like, okay, we'll take this risk. We're gonna, and that's what we're talking about equity shares, things like that. You can do stuff like this on a shoestring budget. It can be done in today's age. We didn't have to hire 20 chemists and a nutritionist and 4 doctors, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people out there who, I was telling Stephen this right from the inception. There are 100 people right now having this meeting, Stephen. They're talking about StrikeLyte, but they're calling it Awesome Water or whatever it is. And then there's 10 of those groups that are like, who do we know that we could get this going? And that networking aspect has been critical and crucial. It's still rearing its head in the operations of StrikeLyte. As we progress, you know, that networking component is so crucial. And then it was like,
we got it cool.
So it's just a matter of taking that leap, using that entrepreneurial spirit. You can do it with things like equity shares, but you have to have people that are willing to get up and run with you and jump through the hoops and do it. And that's kind of been our strength with the companies we've done, is we've been able to find good people who are willing to put in effort for the possibility of a payoff down the road, who also buy into or also believe the same beliefs that we have, which, you know, it's right on the webpage. It's family, faith, and
family, country.
Yeah, faith, family, country. And I like to add fun. I like to add fun. We like to have fun. But those things are super important to us. But the thrill that comes from a mother taking your product to a physician and him flipping his lid about it and just like, where do we get this? This is critical. This is going to be amazing for our patients. And seeing the hope, I guess the excitement and the hope about it, and the relief, that is a huge payoff in and of itself.
100%.
We want to make sure that moving forward, we maintain that integrity, because for me, even in the weight loss sphere, wherever I'm at, if I see somebody 6 months down the road and they're like, hey, and I get a big hug and, oh my God, you're never gonna believe, you know, that for me,
that's so rewarding.
Yeah.
Money's cool, but it's not purpose. And that's Stephen and I have strong sense of purpose that way.
You have to be sold on the product too. And that's something, because we've had some people are like, man, you can sell this for you're way too cheap. Like, you should be like, for instance, so, and I stop, go ahead and put your hand up to screen or whatever. But StrikeLyte to manufacture costs more than double than any other competitor out there. The next highest, it costs almost double than the next highest, more than double than most, and we're selling it for cheaper than anybody else, and so or less expensive. And so that does make it to where it hurts our profit margins. And I get it, and those other companies aren't bad for doing that, because your net income is called growth income, right? The net income is what you can take to invest back into your company. The other income is already tied in and paying salaries and stuff. So I get that, but my thing is, like, I wanted to make the best electrolyte, and I want it at the best cost. And I told Andrew, I was like, we have the best electrolyte, and that's not just go to AI and I guess you can't, because the formula is not public, it's proprietary.
No, it
but
is
like AI analyzed it. And like, it's not just me saying that, right? This is like a data analysis system that's compared it to every other electrolyte that I could find, that AI could find on the market, me and AI could find, and analyzed it and said it's the best. And so, maybe our TCC is probably quite a bit higher. Our to customer cost, sorry. It's an acronym I coined. I don't like acronyms, but I guess I like to make them myself. But our to customer cost is more expensive, and our profit margins may decrease a little bit. And so that could cause slow growth. But at the end of the day, my thing is I wanted to create a quality product at an affordable price. And because that's what drove me to this, is like that other competitor, as good as they were, I was like, I can't afford this, man. Like, I want to take this. I want to be able to afford this, or I could afford it, but I got to take it to my office at work and I can't share it with my kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which isn't an option because I'm the guy that's like, if somebody's going to starve in my household, it's not going to be my children. You know what I mean? It's not going to be my family. It's going to be me.
And that financial aspect of it is huge. You guys were even talking before the show about this, that money's cool. It is. But how much do I need? Do I need to be soulless on a yacht?
Yeah.
Or can I be having fun in a canoe up at the lake? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I can make money. I tell people all the time, you can start a company. Money's fake. You go out and you just get it. It's not hard to do. You just have to put in sweat. Sweat turns into money, right?
You'll have to forgive Andrew. One of his first things is he's like, so what's holding you back? And I was like, with the other company, I was like, well, I just need time. He's like, no. What's really holding you back? And I was like, well, I guess if I had more money, he's like, money's easy, bro. I was like, I'm glad you think so.
No, but if you're passionate, if you have the soul, that's the thing is we're not looking to be quadrillionaires, right? That's not.
Yeah.
If we can price this right, if we can get it out there and there's an organic following even, and we're improving lives that way, I just want to be comfortable. I don't need 10 houses.
Absolutely.
I don't need 15 cars.
Yeah.
You know,
that's kind of a good place to wrap up actually, because we're about to run out of time.
Yeah.
But that financial freedom aspect, you don't have to be a billionaire or even like a multimillionaire. If you have enough to get by and you're comfortable at wherever you're at and you're passionate about what you're doing, then that is the definition of financial freedom to me. Doing what you want when you want without any financial constraint, and that really just depends on the personal goal. So that's great that you guys are kind of on the same page with that. But it was really nice to meet you guys. A lot of great value in this conversation. We appreciate you guys for coming on.
Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. It's been amazing. It's been a great conversation.
Right.
Perfect.
And we'll stay in touch. We'll talk to you guys later. It was really good meeting you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got the webpage pulled up. It looks great, guys. It's this is a solid. Your ethics and your drive. What drives you guys is it fits right with where we're at personally as human beings. This right here, I like it a lot. I like it. I think you're going to see a lot of success with it. There's a lot of people that are drifting around, casting about aimlessly, and this is nice. I like it.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, it's good meeting you guys again. David and Ben.
Take care, guys.